I'm just going to click on the go live thing spontaneously and see what becomes of this. It's a last minute under the radar, unannounced appearance from my living room in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And I don't expect many people. This is the middle of the night right now on the East Coast of the United States. But you may be watching this tomorrow at your leisure. I hope some of you do. I'll post it on YouTube also. And just got in the mood to play some songs in the new year here. Happy New Year to you all. A couple of songs have kind of built up. I did a couple of radio interviews today. And so it got me in the mood. I started playing in my friend's kitchen who was interviewing me, Tom, and got in the mood. These interviews are going to be broadcast in the Midwest, I think, on a network of stations. So I hope your New Year's going well so far. And I'll play you a couple of tunes tonight. And then this Saturday, January 7th, I'm doing one of my first live gigs since COVID, and couldn't be happier to be back playing for a live audience and a really friendly audience. I've done this gig before. It's at the Jewish Community Center, which I think is also the synagogue there in Flemington, New Jersey. It's right across the street from the police department. You don't have to fight any of the city traffic. You don't have to drive through Flemington. It's off of the 3rd Circle. And a friend of mine, Ed Jankowitz, mentioned that there's only 30 circles in the whole state of New Jersey. So Flemington has 10% of them all because there's 3 circles in Flemington. This is the 3rd Circle. And they have a big, beautiful parking lot with free parking. And so there's no hassle the way there is when you go to a city, New York or Philly, to see somebody and have to pay for parking, or if you're lucky, find a place on the street. So speaking of Flemington, my handmade ukulele, my Loprinzi right here, was made by Donna Loprinzi, who was formerly a resident of Flemington. And then when she and her family, including her father, Augustine, known as Augie to his friends, Augie Loprinzi, the great guitar craftsman, they moved to Florida, and a guy came along and said, "Could you make me a ukulele?" And he said, "No, I don't do that." So, but this guy prevailed. I don't know who it was. Pardon me, my nose is itching in the dry weather here. And finally, they relented and they made him a uke. And now that's about what they do 90% of the time. They're one of the world's finest and most famous uke makers. And Donna, Augie's daughter, made this. And Augustine said something that really caught my attention. He said, "Donna is 10 times the builder that I ever was." Wow, what a high compliment this is. So today when I was on Tom Florek's show, you know, who's long been associated with the great Cafe Improv in Flemington, we were talking about dream songs. And of course, you know, yesterday was a dream song. Some people don't know that Every Breath You Take by Sting was dreamed. And this song is a song that I dreamed, and I had to get myself up and make sure I taped it because I knew that if I waited till the next day, I would have lost it. So this little ukulele number is called Remember the Rain, and it goes like this. Baby blue sky dressed up like a rainbow, I always thought that's how we'd want it to be. That's why I want to know, do you remember the rain? I took part in a contest once at the Philadelphia Folk Festival, and it was a ukulele contest. It was the year that Annie and I played the folk festival. That was a big thing for us and a high watermark. And by the way, if the spirit moves you, I always, or usually anyway, include a tip jar these days, a virtual tip jar, so you'll find it up there if you scroll up under the name of the show, Here and Gone. I gotta get this thing in tune. So, you know, the first prize in this Martin sponsored ukulele contest, the first prize was a Martin $1,500 Martin uke. So I said, okay, well, it's a folk festival, so there's probably going to be a ton of ukulele players, but there wasn't that many. And I turned to Annie and I was like, Annie, I've got a shot at this. I could win this ukulele. And so I'm going to play you the song that I played that day. And then I'll tell you what happened in that auspicious occasion. This is what I played. I went, little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes, yeah. Little darling, I see that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say it's alright. It's alright. So here's what happened. There was about 20 people, and there were some real bozos who just got up on a dare. They didn't know what they were doing. Then there was a couple of good people. And then there was this young lady who was 19, and she sang an original song, and it was lovely. And she wasn't that skillful a player, but it turns out she had to borrow a ukulele to enter the contest, so to speak. And afterwards, they did this kind of Fred Mac amateur hour thing, and we lined up, and they went through the line, and people applauded. And I came in second, and I won something like, 10 sets of Martin ukulele strings and a T-shirt, I think. And she won the ukulele. She won a $1,500 Martin uke. And I wasn't disappointed at all. And afterwards, I saw the judges coming across the field towards me and Annie, and they came up. There was about 4 or 5 judges, and they came up. They said, "We wanted to tell you that you were the best player, but we just thought that she doesn't own a uke, and we thought we'd give it to her, and she did an original." And I looked at them squarely in the eye and said, "You know what? You did the exact right thing. So thank you for the compliment, but you did the right thing, and so it all worked out great." Now I have that beautiful Lo Prinzi. Let's see. I got new songs. I got new blues. I've just really concentrated in the last 10 or 15 years after playing blues my whole life. I really kind of concentrated on becoming a blues guitar player and put a lot of time and effort in it. There are many times where I still play. Even after all these years, I play 5 hours, 6 hours a night sometimes. And so I'm going to play one of my new songs. This will be on a series of records I'm making called Grace Notes. And I want to tell you that I've been coached and mentored and helped greatly by my old friend David Spinoza, who was my first producer, and some of you recognize his name. He's one of the world's greatest guitar players, greatest studio players, played with the Beatles, played with John Lennon, played with Paul McCartney on Ram. And so we did some Zoom lessons, some Zoom get-together, and he didn't charge me or anything, but he just, and I give lessons, but this was like a master class, you know. And what a privilege to be able to play for such a legend, and then have him make some comments. And he gave me some really great comments. Maybe someday down the road I'll tell you more about what he told me. But tonight I'm going to turn this microphone a little bit that way, and I'm going to play this new song for you. I've also been influenced by a semi-obscure guitar player. His name is Robben Ford. He's not really obscure. He's known among guitar players. But he came up in the world of blues. So Robben Ford has been an influence, and he's got some great guitar lessons out there in case you want to catch up with him. This is a blues I wrote called This Side of Heaven. I'll walk the streets of gold, I won't get any older, but this side of heaven I will sing the blues. I will lay my burden down, yeah, trade my troubles for a crown, but this side of heaven I will sing the blues, yeah. My home isn't in this world, I'm headed over yonder, but as I walk this earth I still have some points to ponder. Someday I'll see my Savior face to face. In the meantime, I'm still in this human race. And this side of heaven, I will sing the blues. My home isn't in this world. I'm headed over yonder. And as I walk this earth, I still have some points to ponder. Someday I'll see my Savior face to face. In the meantime, I'm still in this human race. And this side of heaven, I will sing the blues. This side of heaven, yeah, I will sing the blues. I don't want to wake anybody up here. Unless you're watching this tomorrow morning. Then crank it up and wake yourself up with a little blues. There is not a single person in the chat room tonight. That's all right. That's what happens when you do an under the radar type of thing. You just take potluck, and like I said, a lot of people watch my webcasts at their own leisure after the fact. This is a 12-string that I bought at Jeff Klein's Emporium in the middle of Lambertville. I love it. It's a cheap Yamaha. By the way, John Lennon's 12-string cost him $12, I believe. Maybe it was 12 pounds, which is more like $30. But in any event, it wasn't an expensive one. And how good did that guitar sound on so many records, especially on You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. The first record I remember hearing it on was I'm a Loser. And coming back from my sister's house after a Christmas party there, we were listening to Sirius Radio, and Jeremy Clyde of Chad and Jeremy hosted an excellent show, and we had a blast, and we were all singing along at the top of our lungs. And Eli, my son who's 16, he's got a real deep baritone voice, and he could hit those songs. Of all the love I have won or have lost, there is a love I should never have crossed. She was a girl in a million, my friend. I should have known she would win in the end. I'm a loser, and I've lost someone who's dear to me. I'm a loser, and I'm not what I appear to be. Isn't that a great song? That's the first time John Lennon wrote a lyric and we went, oh, wait a minute, this guy isn't all about sunshine pop and you know, I want to hold your hand, etc. He's got some deep thoughts. Let me play you a little bit of his other classic 12-string song. Really was influenced by Bob Dylan, and you know it. And it goes like this. Here I stand, head in hand, turn my face to the wall. If she's gone, I can't go on, feeling 2 foot small. Everywhere people stare, each and every day. I can see them laugh at me, and I hear them say, hey, you've got to hide your love away. Hey, you've got to hide your love away. My dear friend, lifelong friend Alan LaBeouf was here the other night on New Year's Eve, and we had a blast singing in the kitchen. He enjoyed himself, so he said he will come back. We have a request for the next time to play some originals, and so we will do Don't Burn the Bridges and You Fool. I'm going to try to get him to do that, as requested by my friend Marty. And we'll do a couple of other originals, hopefully, too. And our mutual friend, Steve Philp, said it was good to hear the piano again. And I agree. I love to play piano behind Alan doing kind of a mellow first set, the way he used to do at O'Connor's in Watchung. So look for that. We'll do that on a Friday night again. We didn't get to half the songs we wanted to do, so we got tons left. And this is one of the most beloved songs of the 60s. A really great single by the Lovin' Spoonful, recorded by them and sung by the great John Sebastian. Not just these few hours, but I've been waiting since I taught for the great relief of having I think I come to see myself at last, and I see that the time spent confused is the time that I spent without you, and I feel myself in blue. My darling, be home soon. I couldn't bear to wait an extra minute if you daughter. My darling, be home soon. It's not just these few hours, but I've been waiting since I toddled for the great relief of having you to talk to. Go and beat your crazy head against the sky. Try and see beyond the houses and your eyes. It's okay to shoot the moon. My darling, be home soon. I couldn't bear to wait an extra minute if you daughter. My darling, be home soon. It's not just these few hours, but I've been waiting since I toddled for the great relief of having you to talk to. On my old trusty Yamaha 12-string rattling around. That's the way they sound best when they're old and loosened up. I've played some new 12 strings that I didn't care for at all. So what do you say? What do you do? For you gearheads, this is my Yamaha Revstar, and a really great guitar player named Chris Buck from Wales, I believe, turned me on to this guitar. And as I am inclined to do sometimes, I named this guitar. I have names for a lot of my guitars. And this one's name is Sundown. So, I'm just checking the monitor here. Oops, I did something wrong already. Hope I didn't screw up everything. No, I'm okay. So, it's Tuesday, January 3rd. I think I'll do an old blues. Well, I'm drifting. Should I do it in this key? A blues that I learned off of an Eric Clapton record, which is how we've really gotten a lot of our education to the blues. What a service the great Eric Clapton has provided. Well, I'm drifting like a ship out on the sea. Drifting and drifting, yeah, like a ship out on the sea. I ain't got no sweet woman in this world to care for me. If my baby would only take me back again. my baby, yeah, would only take me back again. I'd feel much better, darling, and at least I'd have a friend. Like a ship out on the sea, yeah. Drifting and drifting like a ship out on the sea. I ain't got no sweet woman in this world to care for me, yeah. Let's see. Do I have one more song in me here? Yeah, I do. I've got my trusty go-to Santa Cruz here. And what am I in the mood to end on? Here's a song I've played for 50 years, and I've never, ever gotten tired of it, because I dare say I think it's the greatest acoustic guitar song ever written. And you know what it is already. I gave it away by playing these intervals up on the neck. And then I'll say good night or good day, depending on when you're watching this, and hope to see you again. I'll be in Flemington this Saturday night at 7 p.m., January 7th, at the Jewish Community Center. And I'd love to to have you. I think it's $10 per person, very reasonable. There will be drinks, beer and wine, desserts, coffee, and me. This was all arranged by my guitar student and friend, Cara London, one of the great friends I've made through guitar teaching. So I'll end on this. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise, yeah. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free, yeah. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. Ooh, yeah. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You and I were waiting for this moment to arise. Well, God bless you. Hope to see you again. And if you're around this Saturday night, come up and say hello. I'd love to meet you in Flemington. And I shall return, and we'll also come back again one of these Friday nights with Alan again. So I'll let you know when that's going to happen. Just keep your eye on Facebook, and that's how you'll find out. Okay, have a good one. Bye.